In the 19th century, a peculiar medical phenomenon swept across Europe, particularly in France. France imported over 40 million leeches. This staggering number highlights the immense popularity and reliance on these creatures for medical treatments. All these leeches in a single year, not for food, of course, but for medicine. The practice might seem bizarre today, but back then, it was a common and accepted form of treatment. These blood-sucking worms were a staple prescription, a go-to remedy for a wide array of ailments. They were used by doctors for everything from headaches, those nagging pains that plagued people daily, to madness, the most severe and misunderstood of conditions. Leeches were even thought to cure mental instability. The demand was so high, fueled by unwavering faith in their healing abilities, that leeches became a booming international trade, a lucrative business connecting different parts of the world. They were carefully harvested from marshes and then shipped to hospitals across Europe, becoming an essential part of medical practice. Even kings relied on leeches, seeking their supposed curative powers for various health issues. They were believing their bloodletting powers could restore health, vitality, and overall well-being. It was a practice steeped in tradition and perceived wisdom. Doctors developed detailed guidelines for their use, meticulously documenting the proper application and monitoring of these tiny creatures. They were sometimes applying dozens at once to a single patient, believing that a large quantity would yield better results. It was a messy, painful, and widely accepted practice, a common sight in medical settings of the time. It was rooted in the belief that draining blood was the surest path to recovery, a fundamental principle of medicine for centuries. Why all this bloodletting throughout history? Why was this practice so widespread and considered a legitimate form of treatment for so long? It goes back to the ancient theory of humorism, a dominant medical philosophy that shaped healthcare practices for centuries. This theory, originating in ancient Greece, proposed a specific understanding of the human body and its functions. For over 2,000 years, doctors believed the body was ruled by 4 fluids. These weren't just any fluids. They were considered fundamental substances that dictated a person's health and temperament: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Each humor was associated with specific qualities, seasons, and even personality traits. Illness meant these humors were out of balance, an imbalance that could manifest in various physical and mental symptoms. Maintaining the correct proportion of these humors was seen as crucial for overall well-being. So treatment focused on restoring equilibrium, aiming to bring the humors back into their ideal proportions. Doctors employed various methods to achieve this delicate balance. Too much blood? You were feverish and needed to be bled. The logic was simple: reduce the excess to alleviate the symptoms. The most direct way to fix an imbalance was to remove the excess, a seemingly straightforward solution to a complex problem. Especially blood, the most accessible humor. It was readily available and easily manipulated, making it the primary target for therapeutic intervention. Bloodletting became the go-to cure for nearly every ailment, from headaches and infections to more serious conditions. It was considered a universal remedy, guided by this ancient logic. This system of reasoning, though flawed by modern standards, provided a framework for understanding and treating disease for centuries. The lancet, scarificator, and leech, these tools became synonymous with medical practice, were seen as essential tools for rebalancing life itself, instruments that held the power to restore harmony and health according to the prevailing medical beliefs of the time. The physician's toolkit, in days gone by, was a far cry from the sterile, technologically advanced equipment we see today. It was a collection of often crude, yet meticulously crafted instruments, each designed for a specific purpose, reflecting the medical understanding, or lack thereof, of the time. It was built for one thing: letting blood, a practice rooted in the ancient belief that illness stemmed from an imbalance of bodily fluids, or humors. Venesection, or phlebotomy, as it was more formally known, used a sharp lancet, a small pointed blade to deliberately open a vein. The choice of vein and the amount of blood drawn were believed to be critical to the patient's recovery. The flowing blood was then carefully collected and measured, draining into a bowl. The color and consistency of the blood were also closely scrutinized, believed to offer further insights into the patient's condition. The scarificator, a rather intimidating brass box containing a set of spring-loaded blades, was used to make shallow cuts, a less precise but equally popular method of bloodletting. This was often followed by the application of heated glass cups, known as cupping, to draw out even more blood. The suction created by the cooling cups was thought to amplify the effects of the cuts. Leeches, however, offered a different approach and were prized for their gentler touch, making them ideal for application to sensitive spots like the temples, where other methods might be too aggressive. They were also used inside the mouth, on the gums, to treat a variety of dental and oral ailments. Their anesthetic bite, numbing the area, and slow, steady feeding made them, in a way, nature's automated phlebotomists, providing a more controlled and less painful experience. Bloodletting, in its various forms, defined medical practice for centuries. It was a cornerstone of treatment, and a skilled doctor, highly regarded in his community, was often measured by his ability to bleed patients with precision and perceived expertise. Detailed charts, specialized tools for incision and suction, and careful measurements of blood volume all turned this bloody ritual, however misguided, into what was considered a respected and sophisticated science. Picture yourself in 1750, feverish and weak, as the doctor prescribes leeches. Your skin is washed, shaved, and dabbed with milk to attract the leeches. One by one, the doctor places them on your skin. You feel a pinch, then numbness as they inject their anesthetic saliva. The leeches feed for up to an hour, swelling with your blood before dropping off. The wounds bleed for hours thanks to the leech's anticoagulant. Afterward, you're left weak, but the doctor assures you the excess humor is gone. Surviving the cure was often as challenging as surviving the illness itself. Medical books from the past are filled with diagrams like the Zodiac Man and Vein Man, mapping the body for bloodletting. These charts linked veins and astrological signs to specific ailments and treatments. Detailed illustrations guided doctors on where and when to bleed patients for maximum effect. Artworks depicted bloodletting as routine. Doctors, barber surgeons, and jars of leeches were common sights. These images show bloodletting was public, accepted, and as ordinary as a haircut. The charts and illustrations were the MRI scans of their day, essential tools for diagnosis and treatment. Physicians saw themselves as learned healers, applying the best knowledge available. The widespread age of leeches eventually ended, largely due to the scientific revolutions that swept through the 19th century. The advent of the microscope revealed that the body was intricately made of cells, not simply a collection of fluids. Germ theory then showed that diseases originated from bacteria and viruses, and not from the supposed imbalance of humors. Rigorous studies proved bloodletting was not just useless, but actively dangerous. Patients often fared significantly worse after the procedure. New medicines, revolutionary anesthesia, and effective antiseptics gradually replaced the old, outdated tools. The doctor's role shifted away from balancing humors and towards diagnosing and curing diseases with scientific methods. Therefore, the decline of leeches marked a pivotal point, the birth of modern medicine. Yet the leech made a comeback in modern hospitals. Surgeons found leeches invaluable for saving reattached fingers and skin flaps, where blood pooled dangerously. The leech's saliva, rich in anticoagulants, kept blood flowing and gave veins time to heal. Today, medical-grade leeches are FDA approved for specialized surgeries. They're raised in sterile labs and used in delicate procedures like limb reattachment and skin grafts. The leech's journey, from medieval cure-all to modern surgical tool, shows how medicine evolves. Would you trust a doctor with a jar of leeches today?